Hi, this is Steve with Doublereno Woodworking. So I've got my quick change wasteboard all assembled. I've got my table put into place now, and I'm ready to start mounting the rails onto the quick change wasteboard. So let's get started. Okay, I'm ready to start assembling. I'm going to show you something I did. I put some little felt feet underneath the leveling feet on this so it'll slide around. And I'm mainly just doing that through the assembly process because I wanted to assemble it with the machine or the table already put in where it goes. So that's just so I can move it around some while I'm assembling it. And once I get it done, I'll just pry it up, lift it up, pull those feet off. That way it won't move around because I think right now it'd definitely walk with those things on there. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get my Y rails mounted on here. And you want the stepper motors to the back. I think you can do it two different ways, but I'm going with a standard installation, I guess you'd call it. So I'm going to set my two rails on. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to slide the gantries all the way up to the front. So I'm going to slide both of these all the way to the front till they're flush. They say you can turn the ball screw if they don't want to move, but these seem to be moving just fine. Okay, so I got both of those to the front. So now I want to set my X rail on top of this. Got that right down here. And stepper motor to the right. Just like that. Okay, stepper motor's over here, and then your wiring and stuff will come out over here on the left-hand side. And I think you can reverse all this stuff, but it's not a big deal. I'm just going to go with the way that it's supposed to be done. So what they tell you to do is go ahead and put in two screws here. Make sure this side, I know you can't see that right here, but this side right here needs to be flush. And then you put two screws here. Do the same thing on the other side. So I'll do that real quick. That T-handle Allen wrench didn't work very good, so I went and got another wrench real quick. So the next thing is you go ahead and put in the two bolts on the back on each side, so 4 more bolts. So I'll just skip through that. You don't need to watch me put 4 more bolts in, and then we'll start mounting these rails. Okay, so I've got my X rail mounted on top now. So the next thing I need to do is start mounting the Y rails. And so what they suggest you do, again, this thing needs to be slid up all the way to the front. And then with a quick change wasteboard, it comes with these bolts. If you don't have the quick change wasteboard, it comes with, I don't know where they are. Here they are. It just comes with wood screws to screw that down into your tabletop. So, but if you got the quick change wasteboard, it comes with the screws to mount these rails on here. So what they suggest to you is to put 1 screw in each corner. And this thing should line up pretty well anyway, but I guess you're just making sure that everything lines up right. So I got, and you want to make sure that's flush. If it's not flush, the screw's not going to go in. You're going to know when it's flush because the screw won't go in until it is. But they're just suggesting just 1 screw in each end, or each side. Snug those down good. And now we want to slide this thing all the way back to the back. I'm amazed at how stout this thing is. When I opened the boxes and actually picked it up, I'm like, man, this is one stout piece of machinery. I'm really glad I went this route so far. Okay, I can't reach that far. Okay, let's butt it up there. That's butted up. Let me double check that other side again. Felt like it moved a little bit. Okay, it's butted up there. And it's butted up there. Okay, so I've got that thing pushed to the back, so I'm going to go ahead and put in one screw in each corner over here. Just to make it a little bit easier, I can slide this thing back up out of the way, and then I'm ready to put in my other 4 bolts. So I can go back and put all these bolts in now. This thing will slide back and forth. It slides nice and easy all the way up and down. I've already moved it up just to check it to make sure. So now I just need to put my other 4 bolts in, and or make sure I got all 4 bolts in going into the quick change wasteboard on all corners, and then we're ready to put the Zslider on. I got all the bolts in now. The machine basically is mounted on here except for the Zslider. All the way to the back. All the way to the front. So we're ready to put the Zslider on now. Okay, so we're ready to mount the Zslider on this thing now. So there's 4 bolt holes right here, 2 here and 2 here. And then there's 2 sets of 3 sets actually of mount holes here. And all the suggestions I've seen is you start with the 2 middle holes. So to do that, we got to move the router mount. You just spin this thing right here. And you just want to slide the mounter route, the router mount up where it clears those holes where you can get those bolts in those holes. Okay, that ought to be good. So now we can access these 2 holes and these 2 holes and these 2 holes here. So we've got, they're real good about taking all these things and label what everything is that you get. So we got these 4. And I think these were it's a number 3 hex head. So basically we're just going to sit this thing up here, going to line that hole up with that hole. Okay, so the next thing we're ready to do is put a router in. So you've got this mount bracket right here, and I think it's a number 4. Yeah, it's a number 4. So you want to back these bolts out good, where this thing has got some clearance. And your router, this is the Makita router, the RT0701C, which is the recommended router for this. and want your power cable off to the left. We're gonna have to drop that back down, I think. Drop that back down so clear the head of the router. That should be enough. So maybe just take this thing. It's not slide in there very easy. Shouldn't have to back those out anymore. Just have to give a little bit of space in there. I might need to drop that down some more. Okay, yeah, if you just pull that out a little bit as you're sliding it in there, then it goes in. And you want to push that all the way down to the bottom. And then we just come back and tighten these two bolts back up. Same thing, snug them both down good. And then come back and finish tightening them. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is we have to run our cables through this little bracket here in the back. So I'm going to reset up and we'll do that. Now we've got this little plate right here, and this I believe is a 4 also. So you have to take these 2 screws off this plate here. And this is just holding your cables in. And I've already got the one cable stuck through there, but we had to pull it back out because we got to get the router cable in there. So looking at it from the front of the machine, the small cable goes off to the right. So you can see that it's already in there. And that's the one that plugs into the stepper motor on the Z-axis or the Z-slider. And then the router cable goes through here. So you want to make sure you've got enough room for your slack for your router cable on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that I don't know whether you can see that or not, I'm just sliding my router all the way back down to the very bottom of the Z-axis. And then, let me pull this. Unwind this cable here real quick. Okay, so we want to take this one, the little cable, and you want to make sure you get it past the curly thing, and there should be plenty of room for that to connect there. Yeah, that should be fine just like that. And then you want to run your router cable on the other side like that. And I got that. Yeah, that's right. So I've got that like that, and that should be enough room. As long as you got enough room for this thing to travel, for your router to travel up and down, that should be plenty. So that looks like that's pretty good right there. You don't want it too loose where it's going to get caught up in anything, but you want to have enough slack where where your router can move up and down. And then you got this cable in through here. We just start these bolts back in here. Got that one halfway snowed down. Okay, so now the router is mounted. This will end up going over here. So I'm going to move the camera back around front and we'll connect this stepper motor and we'll be done with this part. Okay, so we have all that hooked up now, and all we have to do is just connect the stepper motor. And it's going to go, it's got a clip in it so you can't put it in the wrong way. Alright, so the stepper motor is connected. The router cable is secured in here, coming over here. So that's pretty much it for installing the rails. All 3 rails, the Z, X, Y, and Z rails, And then we got the router mounted, so we're ready to start hooking up the power to it now. Start hooking up all the electrical, the cables, the control box and all that. So I'm going to do that in the next video. I appreciate you watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share my videos. Thank you.